Good evening, everyone, and welcome to BSBA's live broadcast discussion with our partners from Lindustry and the SBA. I'm your host, Nikisha Henry, and this evening we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is money, funding, including everything between grants, loans, forgivable loans, and credit. We'll also be taking viewer questions towards the end. So to all of our audience, you guys, please be sure to have your questions ready, okay? So tonight we have a very special guest panel, and they are all super excited to talk about the different financial resources that are available and just how to leverage them for our businesses so that we can all survive this pandemic and even beyond the pandemic. So without further ado, I want to introduce our special guests tonight for my panel. So joining me tonight, first up is Selena Pryor, the president of BSBA. So Selena, just take a minute, introduce yourselves to those who may not know you. I'm pretty sure everybody knows you by now, but go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Selena Pryor, and I am the president of the Black Small Business Association of California. We provide professional development, advocacy, up-to-date resources, and now we are helping get people qualified or eligible for, apply for the loans that are available. So we are happy to be here. I'm happy to serve the community. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for all that you are doing with BSBA. Next up on our panel is the one and only Miss Heather Lutzy. She is the Sacramento District Director of SBA. Welcome, Heather.
Oh, hello. Great to see you again, Keisha. Thank you for having me. So just a short introduction. I am, as Nikisha said, the district director for the Sacramento District Office. My district encompasses the 22 northeastern counties of the state. But we have a very collaborative relationship with all of the directors throughout California. California is a little bit special in that we have 6 district offices here because of our population. So again, we all work and strive to be collaborative with one another and to provide the resources to small businesses.
Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight, Heather. Looking forward to the wealth of knowledge that you're always giving to all of our viewers. Next up on the panel is Chris Horton, the Center at Lindustry. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Nikisha. I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a support and a resource for everyone. Yes, with Lindustry, I wear a couple of hats. I'm a relationship manager, working with our partners on the PPP, and also I do business development for them. Which is basically providing technical assistance to small business owners and entrepreneurs through the Center by Lindustry. So happy to be here and look forward to the conversation this evening.
Absolutely, and we are definitely happy to have you, Chris. And last but certainly not least, Kim Doris with Rose Gold Financial. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So if you can just give us a brief background about yourself and what you do with Rose Gold.
Absolutely. So I'm the owner of Rose Gold Financial. And basically what we do is we do financial consulting. We also provide financial literacy, financial education for business and consumers. And we also offer trade lines. And what's unique about my business is I partner with my sister who is an attorney, and she's barred in 3 different states. And so our motto is to build and protect. So we're not only going to help you build your finances, but also to secure them by, providing either a will or a trust or what have you. So we offer an array of services. And that's what we do.
Awesome. Well, you know what? We're just going to jump right on in, and I would like to start with you, Kim, while I have you up right now. So I want to start, within our community, we are taught not to take out loans and get credit cards and lines of credit and things like that. So can you talk a little bit about how credit works, how it can help and hurt you and your business?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you said that, because that's one of the main misconceptions. A lot of people, they come in with the mentality of cash only. I don't want to take out a loan. I don't want credit cards. I guess it's seen as something negative, but it's the exact opposite. You need credit. Credit is amazing. It will put you in opportunities and situations that if it wasn't for credit, you would not have. And so for me, professionally as well, I do work as a branch manager for a credit union. And what I do is I do specialize in different loans. So it's auto loans, personal loans, things like that, debt consolidations. And so some of the main issues that we do have is that people, they do not have credit. And specific to my office, we have people, they make a lot of money. They have great salaries, but they're not able to reach new levels of success because they don't have the credit. So you have someone, they're making six figures, but they just have a history of nothing. There's nothing on the report. The FICO score is zero. So when it comes to buying a car, that is a challenge. You're going to need a co-signer because there's absolutely no history. It's like you don't exist from a lender's perspective. And so that's some of the things that we talk about, just kind of changing their mind, their state of mind to say, no, you want to leverage your credit. Credit is great. You just want to have a great history. So that's some of the things that I've seen.
Right. So speaking of history, let's talk a little bit about that, because you work with people and businesses. So what are some of the biggest challenges in respect to credit history that you see that would prohibit, people from being able to get the loans that they need for their business, especially people of color?
Well, absolutely. What I've seen is that I would say, if you're someone that's young, fresh out of college, they're going to throw these credit cards at you. So if you don't have that background, that education, someone telling you how to use it the right way, there's a good chance that you're going to make mistakes and you're going to set yourself up negatively when it comes to credit. So what I've seen is a lot of people, they've made bad decisions. They've gotten themselves in a lot of debt. And like I mentioned before, there's a lot of people, they like to live beyond their means. So
Yeah.
if you make great money, you're getting a lot of credit card, you become overextended and it becomes hard to manage. So from both sides of it. So that's why literacy is so important, because it's not the fact that you don't have enough money, is you don't know how to properly use and budget and, use your credit, and to just live within your means. So
Right.
a lot of what I've seen is people, no matter their finances, no matter how much they make, they just don't have the backing, the background of knowing how to, stay within their means and make sure they have great credit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad you mentioned, when you're being in school, being a student, being in college, they throw the credit cards at you, because I was victim to that long ago. The first credit card that they offered me, I just thought, oh my God, how did they know that I'm going to be a great, they threw it at me, and I was so quick to sign up, didn't have a clue about how it worked, didn't know the APR was going to be 25%, it just clueless, so but yeah, no, this is great information. Thank you so much for sharing that, as far as the credit and importance that it is. A lot of times, especially sometimes within our community, we think because we have money, we should just be able to open this business and start this and be able to pretty much leverage whatever we want to, but we do have to have some type of history on paper that shows that we're worthy. Yeah, so thank you for that. So next question I want to open up, I think is, it's important that we talk about credit in the context of what financial products are available that may or may not be used, that may or not use credit as a determinant for eligibility. So with all of the financial products available, and this is for you, Heather, I want to open this up to Heather. With all of the financial products available, the PPP, the EIDL, the California Relief Grant, what is the difference between a grant and a loan?
So actually, there's a big difference. Let me first start with the PPP and EIDL. So the PPP is the Paycheck Protection Program, and that's actually a loan, but it can be forgivable. The term of the loan is 5 years. It carries a 1% interest rate, so extremely palatable, but it has specific requirements. And the requirements that have to be met are at least 60% of that funding goes towards payroll. If that occurs, and then the rest of the funds are used towards, like, say, mortgage, utilities, health insurance, benefits, that type of thing, then the entire loan is forgiven. So it's an excellent product that Congress came up with. On the flip side of that is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or EIDL, which is truly a loan. The EIDL program is actually facilitated by SBA. Typically on our other programs, and in particular the PPP program, our lending partners are facilitating that transaction. With EIDL, we facilitate that transaction, and that's actually a 30-year loan. It carries a 3.75% interest rate for profit entities. And if you're a nonprofit entity, then it is 2.75%. But again, that is not forgivable. But when you look at kind of the long term, if you can't qualify for the PPP, the EIDL could be a great, great program. Now, the California Grant Program, again, is ran by the state of California, and I believe that Chris is going to talk about that, so I'll let him talk about that, but that is as well a grant. So there's a distinct difference between these programs.
So the EIDL and the PPP, they are both forgivable?
No, the EIDL is not forgivable. It's a true loan. So the first 12 months of the EIDL are a deferment period, so no payments are due. The interest does accrue, but at least it gives borrowers that time to, of course, hopefully get back reopened, and hopefully the pandemic will have subsided. But both programs are great. It just really depends on the borrower's situation and what they're looking for.
Okay, and then what would need to happen in order for the EIDL to be forgiven?
So the EIDL, again, that is absolutely a loan. Now there is a third program. So I know it gets a little bit confusing here, but there's a third program that's an EIDL grant. Now the EIDL grant came out through the CARES Act. And with that program, it was essentially $1,000 per employee up to a maximum of $10,000. Well, we implemented that at SBA. But Congress came back and said, that really wasn't our intent. We really feel that we need to give these grants at the $10,000 to these participants. So we're in the process now of reaching back out to those applicants and, engaging with them again to see if they want the rest of those funds. So it's a program that SBA will be reaching out to those borrowers with. Once it's done, and those borrowers that had previously applied are kind of made whole, if you will, then we'll open it up to the general public for another round of grants.
Okay, and so with this being the second round, have the guidelines for any of the requirements changed since the first round for the PPP?
They have. As a matter of fact, the first round, it was a mandate of 75% had to go towards payroll, and then the remainder could go towards other things. So only had a 2-year term. That there was an action that made it a 5-year term. So now with this new round of funding, it still carries the same terms. It allows for a 5-year term for everybody. Again, 1% interest. But in the prior PPP, the borrower could choose between an 8-week and a 24-week time frame for that funding. And that period would be calculated at 2.5% of their payroll. In this round, the applicant business gets to choose any time between 8 weeks to 24 weeks. So they could choose 16 weeks, and we would use that as a 2.5%. So it's really been beneficial bonuses to the program.
Okay, and then so there's another program out called the Shuttered Operations Venue Grant. What is that?
So that's actually another program that was just created through the Economic Aid Act, which was a portion of the CARES Act, implemented on December 27th. That program has not launched yet, but what the intent is to assist facilities that perhaps would have performances or concerts, venue operations, dance studios, that type of thing. So anything, kind of keep in the mind that anything that would be from ticket sales, that's what we're looking for. Those grants will go up to $10 million, which is incredible.
Right.
We are still in the developmental stages of that. We're hoping that will get launched in the next week or so. So keeping our fingers
Okay.
that we can dot our I's and cross our T's.
Sure. Okay. So that's specifically for venues, pretty much. Yeah. Okay. And then where can people find the information online regarding these loans and other grants that are available?
Absolutely. Again, that's a great question. The applicant can go to sba.gov, and on the top of the toolbar, there's a bar that says coronavirus. They can click on that bar, the little yellow bar that appears here, and that will give them all of the information that they need. I will say that it does kind of get a little bit overwhelming. So there's so many different nuances in each of these programs. We've got a lot of area to assist us. So the small business development centers, the women's business centers, our veterans business outreach centers, and of course our district offices. In addition to that, the Black Small Business Administration, it is a great resource as well. So we're kind of doing a train the trainer, if you will, trying to educate different chambers and associations with these nuances, because from a borrower's perspective, Nikisha, it does get really overwhelming. So there's resources out there. Don't feel overwhelmed.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the most important part, because like you said, it's a ton of information, and each program has different requirements and different stipulations. So, is there anyone available either within your district, if there was a business owner, or to any of our viewers who are viewing right now, if they needed additional help, who would they contact?
Absolutely. So actually, I'm going to give you two different things. You can contact our office at 916-735-1700, or you could reach out to the Small Business Development Center, and that would be 1-888-ASK-SBDC. They've got a team of financial advisors that are ready, willing, and able to assist. I want to point out, too, that because these affiliations or entities are partners of the SBA, there's no charges for the services that they offer. The reason that there's no charges is that they're already prepaid by tax dollars. So because these are available, please take advantage of them. There's no reason not to.
Absolutely.
Commissions or anything like that. They've got no vested interest. They're going to do you the best way that they can. They're going to advise you to what's best for your business.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome, because the help is definitely needed. So thank you so much for sharing all of that, Heather. Okay. So I would like to toss it over to Chris. So Chris, Heather, she shared a lot of information about PPP and EIDL and the differences and the requirements. So let's kind of dig a little deeper with the California Relief Grant, because that was a new grant rolled out by our wonderful state of California. And so I know the first round of applications, were submitted, and there was the deadline for that. So first, can you just, for a lot of our viewers and small business owners who may be a little confused about this, can you explain the difference between a grant and a loan as far as what may be required of the business?
Sure. Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here again and be able to be a resource. I think Heather did an amazing job explaining that real difference between a grant and a loan. When you're looking at a loan, the common feature of a loan is that there's terms, there's an interest rate, there's an expectation that the funds you receive will be repaid to the financial institution. On the other hand, you have the grant. And the grant, there is no expectation that you're going to repay the grant, but there are qualifications that you would need to meet in order to be a recipient of a grant.
Okay, thank you for that. So, these loans, a lot of the programs that have been rolled out by different entities, a lot of them are loans in which the small business owners have to pay back. And, I've seen a lot of small business owners kind of get worried because, they have 2, 3, and 4 different loans. And so because the business hasn't really picked up the way that they were expecting, they're not really sure if they can pay all of those back. So how can these loans and also the grants be used to actually leverage their business for those who may be a little leery of wanting to take out a small business loan through this relief program?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it really comes down to each situation, each individual borrower. The way our approach to it is really looking at what makes most financial sense. And so when you're looking at leveraging credit, or you're leveraging low interest rate environments, it's really looking at having a strategic plan to approach, or a strategic plan to approach whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And so, obviously it makes most sense that if you can qualify, be eligible, and receive a grant, and there's no expectation for you to pay that back, that's obviously going to be the most favorable way for entrepreneur or business owner to pursue. But then leveraging credit and leveraging small business financing to be able to accomplish goals is having a strategic plan. So just as long as you can look at it being a vehicle, it's the chassis in which you're going to get from point A to point B, and having a strategic plan. A lot of what I like to recommend to folks is to just keep a pulse on how things are progressing. So take a quarterly review, a semi-annual review, to look at, are you on track to accomplish what you plan to when you first set out to borrow money to help you be able to move your business forward.
Thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit specifically about Lendistry and the great work that you're doing for disadvantaged communities. Obviously, now Lendistry is a lender of the PPP. So how would one actually apply, and what additional resources or help are you guys providing for disadvantaged communities?
Sure. So I'll take that in a couple of pieces. So first, to answer the question about how would someone apply with Lendistry for the PPP, first thing first is you would go to the lendistry.com website. Once you visit the website, you're going to scroll down to, there's going to be a couple options to where you can apply for PPP or the California Relief Grant. You're going to select apply for the PPP, round 2 PPP, and it'll say apply now. What we are recommending for folks to have the most painless experience is to first review the application guide before you even apply. Educate, inform yourself, be aware of what's going to be expected of you. We have an overview for you to select the appropriate loan that you're applying for. You can be applying for the very first time. So obviously there's going to be specific requirements geared towards first time applicants. And then there's the second draw that if you've already received PPP, let it be with Lendistry, let it be with another institution. And then there's going to be a different requirement and path that you're going to take there. We provide for folks the minimum documentation that's required so that we can let you know up front what that's going to look like. And then we provide a call center. So if someone needed help with their application, we have the Black Small Business Administration of California, and then we also have our call center at Lendistry that folks can call. The other thing that I wanted to say is the work that we've done, really our response to COVID-19 shows the great work that we've done here at Lendistry. At Lendistry, we've, see what the statistics I think makes sense. There's been more than, we've done more than 17,000 units that we've funded. So loans and facilities and grants and so forth. We've deployed $465 million. So again, $465 million that we've deployed in capital. Lendistry, we've tripled our staff in order to fully support the unprecedented volumes that this pandemic has brought to us for COVID-19 relief. The other thing I want to say is that we've created an online platform. The purpose of this online platform is to provide technical assistance to more than 4,000 small businesses in underserved areas who need to either retool their business models for the COVID-19 environment, or they need to build operational resilience against future disruption. So I think those are some of the top ways in which we've supported small businesses. We've provided tools and resources and made ourselves available to really take a vested interest in this, in the community as a whole that we serve.
That's amazing because, you know, a lot of times the disadvantaged communities, they do need the additional help. So the fact that you guys have these additional resources set aside just for those communities is definitely amazing. So does Lindustry have any financial products for startups?
Yeah, you know, at Lendistry, you know, we have a very unique philosophy. We have our non-traditional business model. We are a technology-led organization and customer-focused. Our team has I would say, over 300 years of banking experience, and that makes us well equipped to assist with small business owners. You know, the philosophy at Lendistry is we can assist startups and existing businesses. We look at each loan request individually, and where it makes sense within the organization's lending philosophy, small businesses can access financing to start their new business venture.
That's awesome. And so taking it back to the California Relief Grant, so the first round, the applications, you know, I believe the deadline, it had been extended to the 13th of January, I'm guessing. Okay,
Yep.
my memory serves me right. Okay, so January 13th. So do you know what the process or where they are in that process as far as when the first round of applicants will be notified, whether they were approved or not?
Sure. We put out there, emails were sent out to folks last Saturday, not this Saturday, but Saturday before, and folks were informed that some correspondence would come. Their correspondence is going to notify folks that there's one of three outcomes: that they have been selected for consideration of an award, and there's additional documentation or information that we need to be able to finalize that decision to award them a grant. The second correspondence that someone will receive is that they've been waitlisted, which means that they won't receive funds from the first round, but they're automatically going to be moved forward into the second round for consideration then. And then the third correspondence that someone can reach would let them know that they were ineligible to be selected for a grant. That deadline initially on our website said January 22nd. We extended it to January 24th, which is today. So those applicants in the first round that applied should have received communication today, letting them know which of the three outcomes happened with their application.
Okay, thank you for explaining that, because I do the obviously it's self-explanatory if they were not eligible. So for the applicants that may receive notification saying that they were waitlisted, because I know the California Relief Grant Program specifically stated it was not, you know, first come, first serve. It was pretty much everyone apply and they would process. So what would make a small business owner fall under that category of being waitlisted? Is there anything specific?
Not necessarily specific. I mean, because it's just looking at each individual applicant. I mean, it could have been if there was some missing documentation not submitted in a timely manner, or documentation that wasn't submitted in the proper format. There could be more information needed. There could be a further explanation. There can be some incomplete tax returns. I mean, there can be a multitude of different things that could happen to where we're moving folks into the second round, so that it gives us more time to do a deeper dive, get down on a granular level and really understand, to give everyone a fair chance to apply and be a recipient, if possible, for this grant.
Yeah, sure. And that's great, because instead of, you know, making them ineligible, it's actually giving small business owners still, like you said, that opportunity to be able to apply for the funds needed. Thank you so much for that information, Chris. So next I would like to bring Selena on with BSBA.
My sister.
Hi, Selena.
Hi,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Yes, you are. You're looking good. You're sounding good. You are good. So,
I'm trying to be like you.
so tell our viewers why this partnership, you know, between BSBA and Lindustry and the SBA. Why is this partnership so important?
This partnership is so important because a lot of times the Black community doesn't get access to information. and they don't know where to go to get the information. And so we missed out on a lot of opportunities because we just don't know that they exist. And so to be able to partner with Lindustry and to be able to partner with the SBA to find out what's out there, you know, what the dates, the relevant dates that we need, the application process, to be able to know how to answer questions about the application process, just puts our people in a better position to be able to apply for these financial resources and hopefully be able to take advantage of them.
Absolutely. And again, you know, with everything that you're doing with BSBA, it's definitely needed to all of our, you know, small Black businesses. You are a godsend, you and your organization and what you guys are doing, and just being able to share the information, because knowledge is power. And sometimes, you know, there are a lot of folks who just don't have access or don't even know what they're looking for. So what you're doing is great. So thank you so much for that, and continue in what you're doing. So now, yeah, absolutely.
I just want to make a comment because I know that people are really frustrated about, you know, I get it. You know, you're struggling, you need the resources, you just don't know, you haven't heard, you're not sure if what you heard is what you heard. We're here to help you. We are not here to scam you. We're not doing any kind of fraudulent activities. We are bringing the people that we are partnering, that you can look on their website and see if they actually are a part of the organization that they say they're with. You can look and find them. So just for the people who want to put information out that's negative and that is about BSBA being scammers or being fraudulent, our portal wasn't up when the California Relief Grant started. It took a couple of days to get us up and running, but we didn't, you know, not help people. We didn't not put the information out. We put it out because it was important, and that we're doing the work that we're doing because it is important, not just to our community, but to us, to me personally. We're doing the work because it's important. And so I just want to let people know that, you know, if you're out there and you have something to say, we answer our phones all day, 916-573-0677, and we're happy to address your concerns, your complaints, anything you have going on. I have my phone right here. If you want to give us a call, go on ahead and call. I will pick up. Thank you.
Lena, and thank you for the passion that you share, because, you know, it definitely takes a village, and you are a strong part of that village. So thank you so much. So at this time, I'm going to open up the platform for our viewer questions. So for those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, if you have any questions, now is the time to ask. We do have the expert decision makers on this broadcast, so you guys feel free to put your questions in the chat, and we will get to as many as possible. We did have a few sent in from earlier, so we'll start with those. And then again, to our viewers, if you guys have more questions, feel free to put them on in the chat or in the comments. So and this is for any of the panelists. Anybody can jump in at any time. So first question is, when calculating payroll, do I also include employee benefits?
I'd like to take that. Yes, absolutely. You would include employee benefits, sick leave, and anything that would be associated with the payroll. So that's a great question. We get that a lot. And yes, by all means, anything that is associated with that payroll.
Next question. I have a small business and I can't really afford another loan. How can one or multiple loans benefit a small business that's not eligible for grants?
So again, I think it really depends. If they can get the Paycheck Protection loan and get that forgiven, then essentially that would turn into a grant, if you think about it in that fashion. As long as the use of proceeds is spent diligently. And I just want to point out too, the whole premise of the Paycheck Protection Program is really so that these business owners can pay their staff and themselves whether or not they are open. So that's a huge consideration. Even if you're not open, you could still be eligible for these programs. And again, it could be a forgivable loan, and we can guide all the way along and showing you how to get that forgiven. So
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Heather. So next question, this will probably be more for you, Chris. How many rounds of the California Relief Grant will be offered?
Sure, great question. There's only going to be 2 rounds. We've completed round 1 on the 13th, and then we're going to start round 2. We'll open up on February the 2nd and go through February the 8th.
Okay, so 2 rounds.
2 rounds, yes.
Total. Now, if the total amount of funding, I believe it was $500 million.
Correct.
If the total amount of funding is not exasperated in the first 2 rounds, is there a chance that there could be a third round?
The unfortunate reality is that we are going to exhaust that $500 million. We don't anticipate, the leadership team has expressed with us that there's over 4 million small businesses in the state of California. So $500 million, while it is a significant amount of money, it isn't enough to go around and make certain that everyone that applied will receive money. So we will do our due diligence, provide the community with whatever support they can through these first 2 rounds, and we'll be optimistic and see what happens after that. But I don't anticipate we're going to have any money left over based on what our leadership has shared with us.
Wow. Yeah. And that just shows how great the need is just in California alone. And I do believe we have a question in the chat, if we can get that up. So I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Joisha Anderson asks, hello, when is the last day to apply for the PPP program for round 1?
So again, a great question. And actually, both round 1 and round 2 are still available. Round 1 is a kind of a different set of guidelines than the round 2 now. If you got a round 1, then you're eligible for a round 2. If you didn't get a round 1, you would come into the round 1 and not to the 2. Hopefully that makes sense. With that said, it's actually March 31st or until the funding is depleted. That being said, I just also want to touch on something that Chris just said regarding the California grants. Even if the money is depleted there, I would really encourage your listeners to reach out to their city and counties. Sacramento County in particular, they have grant programs. They have been wonderful, wonderful advocates for small businesses. And there's other city and counties throughout the state that are doing similar programs. So call whoever you need to call to get what you need to get to keep your business open. And we're going to do our best to help you and guide you along the way. But again, if you don't ask, you'll never know.
Absolutely. Closed mouths don't get fed.
No,
Thank you, Heather. Okay, there's another question from TACCT Taxes. What happens if Lindustry hasn't sent an email by today and the application was completed for round 1 of the California Relief Grant?
Sure. So there was a customer service, both phone number and email, that's been provided and is available on Lindustry's website. So if someone by the end of their day today, they wake up tomorrow, they still hadn't received that email, I would encourage them to first reach out to that customer service and be able to let them know that they didn't. The other option would be able to contact the SBA, and that team and Lindustry can take a look at that on an internal side. So we're able to take a look and be able to communicate back out.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. And Kim, this question would probably more so for you. Do you advise, because of COVID, a lot of small businesses have, a lot of small business owners have taken hits to their credit and it's had a negative impact. Do you advise going through credit repair companies? Does that help or harm your actual credit?
From my experience, they help. The one thing that I do stress, and I just let everyone know, is you can repair your own credit. However, there are many different ways to repair it. You can pay for, well, I won't say different companies, but credit repair services, they do work. So it really depends on your situation. Some people, they can do it themselves. Some people, they don't have time. They're working. You know what? Let me just pay someone to take care of it. Yes. whatever it is, you have to do something because the credit will not fix itself. So, you can definitely reach out to me. I can give you all of my resources. I know credit repair people that do a great job and they can get you on the right track. And I can actually show you how to do it yourself. And I do have a group here on Facebook that, I can give the information to at the end. But to answer the question specifically, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Kim. So we have a follow-up question from Joisha Anderson. Can I receive funding assistance if my business license and business bank account is fairly new, but I was in business before the pandemic?
I would presume that that's for me, but I guess I would ask what date before the pandemic. So there's a couple of dates to look at with each of the programs. The Paycheck Protection Program required that you be in business and actually generating revenue by February 15th, and by February 15th of 2020. If you were not in business by then unfortunately you're not eligible for the Paycheck Protection Program. That being said, we could look at the economic injury disaster loan for those circumstances. And again, that is a loan. It's not a forgivable loan, but it's an option for you for sure.
Okay, so it sounds like she probably would be eligible because she says she was in business before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay.
Great.
Okay, so next question is from Venetia James. Lindustry is for Lindustry. So this question is for you, Chris. If one is waitlisted, will we be informed if there was a problem with the documentation submitted regarding the formatting, etc.?
Good question. Yeah, absolutely. You will be assigned someone on our underwriting team, and that underwriter will reach out to you and talk through what the challenge was, what issue, what concern, what needs to be updated or corrected. Absolutely, you'll receive some correspondence. Keep in mind, we're here to help. We're not here to penalize folks and make this difficult. So, it's not a, aha, we caught you. It's, oh, this is what needs to be fixed. Let's fix it if it can be fixed, and let's see if we can get you some financial assistance.
Awesome. And another question, if I actually did not take a financial loss in 2020, during April, during the April through September timeframe than I did in 2019, am I automatically ineligible?
That's an awesome question. No, you're not automatically. It's one of the matrix in the scorecard that we're looking at. So it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to not be eligible. It just fits in. It just weighs in on the scorecard. So you could not have had a 25% reduction in gross receipts, but there are other variables and factors that are taken into consideration that you could still be awarded a grant.
Awesome. And another question, if I can't get through to customer service for assistance when filling out the forms or understanding questions on the forms, who would I contact?
Great. What we've decided that's going to be most efficient is your first line would be to go to BSBA. BSBA will do the best that they can with their team, and if it requires additional support from Lindustry internally, BSBA will reach out to us and we'll be able to assist further.
Awesome. Okay, we have another question from Gideon Brown. He says, hi, I've been an independent contractor in real estate for 3 years. Would I qualify? And I guess that would depend on the program because there's so many different ones, but yeah.
Absolutely. And just a small comment for Gideon. Gideon, please reach out to BSBA and engage in a conversation. Don't be discouraged. You don't know what you don't know. That's why you have us. And so please reach out, have the conversation. Let's take a further dive into your particular scenario, and we can point you in the right direction and get you connected with the right folks to help you. So please don't try to do this on your own. We're all in this together.
Absolutely. So I think that is all of the questions, and you guys have answered them very, very well. So before we end the broadcast, I just want to kind of do a round robin and just kind of go for any of you that have any last words to share with the viewers. So, you know what, let's start with you, Selena, the president of BSBA. Any last words?
Yes, we are here to serve you. We are here to help you. If you see something out there, you're not sure, you have questions, call us. We will answer the questions. If we can't answer the questions, we will find the answer to the questions. I am calling Heather, and I know she is like, but she always picks up. I am calling Chris. I'm calling the rest of Lindustry's team. I'm emailing them to get you guys the answers that you need. So please use us as a resource and apply. You have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Apply for everything that's out there, and we will help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Selena. As she said, apply. You have nothing to lose. Okay, Kim, any last words?
Absolutely. I just wanted to encourage everyone, anyone that may be listening, if your credit is not what you want it to be, if it's not, if you're getting denied for credit, that's okay, because you can turn it around. So it just takes focus. It takes, diligence, set aside some times, work on it. I want everyone to know that you can get a free copy of your credit report by going to annualcreditreport.com. They are entitled to give you a free copy every year. So you can definitely log on there. You get Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And, you can do the work, or you can pay someone to do it for you. The choice is yours. Just, focus on it so that way you can improve it. I always tell my specific story. I went from the lowest of the low, and now my credit is good now. And the same can be done for you. So I wanted to just share a resource that I have here on Facebook that's absolutely free. It's called Tips for Financial Success. It's a free private group that you can join. I'm the admin. I will add anyone that wants to join. And we talk about anything and everything that's credit related, business, investing, retirement, insurance as well. So, if you guys just want the information, it's available for you. I'm so glad to be here on this panel with all these amazing, experts. This is wonderful. This is great for the community. But just to talk about my business as well, it is Rose Gold Financial. And we do, like I said in the beginning, an array of services. We do consulting. I have trade lines available. If you need a quick boost to your credit score, you can contact me. I can help you with that as well. Or if you just want to, talk about any wills or trusts, we can definitely help you with that as well. We do writing services. So yeah, my information is down below. Not hard to find. Again, thank you to everyone. This has been wonderful. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. And now, I'm gonna have to contact you, Kim. I didn't know you did wills. So,
Yeah.
it's a lot of times it's kind of a scary thing, especially with our community, to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's something that we all have to deal with eventually. So, thank you for sharing that. I will definitely be in touch.
Awesome. Great.
Okay, and Chris, any last few words? Mm-hmm.
Sure. First and foremost, I just want to thank Lindustry and our leadership for what it is that they're out there doing. It's a minority-owned, minority-led organization, and so I really, really am happy to be part of this organization and supporting the community. And then really thank you, Selena, for being that partner with us and engaged and doing all that you've done. I've known you for a very short period of time, but I've done my homework, and I am very happy and pleased that there's someone like you out there. I would be more than happy if my mom was looking for some assistance to ask her to contact you and BSBA. So thank you so much for what you're doing. And to the folks that are listening on phone, listening, here's what I want you to know is that we're on this call and we're talking about access to capital. We're talking about a pandemic and a crisis that has hit all of us from all backgrounds and all walks of life. But what I want to expand upon the conversation with access to capital are all the other resources and other aspects that you need to address as well. You got your personal life, you got a roof over your head, you may have children. There are other things that we can help address. So we want to help you get access to capital to keep your doors open and keep your business going, keep your employees employed. but there's something called resilience that we need to be talking about, and there's planning that we need to be talking about as well. So it's one thing for us to help you get capital, but there are resources to help you appropriately use that capital and maximize the opportunity when you get that capital. So please reach out to BSBA. Please reach out to Lendistry. We have our technical assistance side. Please reach out to SBA. Heather and her team are phenomenal partners and a great resource there. If they can't do it themselves, they are resourceful to help point you in the right direction as well. So that's my little piece. I'm happy I got a chance to spend some of my Sunday evening with you, and I look forward to having a conversation with any of you in any way that I can. So thank you.
Absolutely, and thank you, Chris. And you brought up such a great point. Once it's one thing to get the funds, but then appropriating those funds once received is even just as important, if not more. So thank you for that nugget there. And last but certainly not least, Heather, any last words?
Thank you. First of all, it is truly my honor and pleasure to be a part of this presentation. I really and again, I'm like Chris, I've known Selena for several months now, and we seem to work very, very well together. We've got a future, and I think that's really kind of the silver lining in a lot of what's going on right now. We all have a future. We just have to look at things in a different light. And I just thank all of you for being a shining light in this darkness. And speaking of darkness, this is really unfortunate, but I really, really would advise your listeners to be very cautious, because unfortunately, there's a lot of bad actors out there. There's a lot of cybersecurity issues going on. If you get an email that you don't recognize, don't click on it. If you get an email from SBA.com and they're saying that they need additional documentation, do not contact that, or do not click on it. If you have any questions about that, call the agency directly. Make sure that they sent you the email. It's really, really unfortunate, but there's a lot of identity theft out there right now, and we just want to protect you and protect your credit. And, Kim's going to be busy trying to fix everybody's credit anyway. We don't want anybody else's going down. So anyway, thank you guys very, very much.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you just to our amazing panel, a virtual round of applause for all of our panel members. You guys have been excellent. Thank you so much. And, to our viewers, if you guys have additional questions, that we weren't able to get through tonight, or you need more information, or you want to apply for the PPP or California Relief Grant, all you have to do is contact the Black Small Business Association, also known as BSBA. Listen, Selena already said they answer the phones. They are here for you. They return emails. And as you can see, just as an example from tonight, they are connected to the right people to help you complete your application from the beginning all the way through the end. So to all of you all, thank you so much for tuning in. And please be sure to tap into your resources. We cannot express that enough. So you guys, listen, stay safe out there, stay masked up, and you know what? We are going to get through this together. It takes a village, and we're all together in that village. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Y'all be safe. God bless you all, and have a good evening. Bye.